Minds. Welcome to our Veterans Q&A session. With us today, we've got some members of our veteran team, and we are doing a Q&A session to talk about different things and ask questions. The questions have been pre-submitted, and we have some exciting ones to be asking the team. So, as a veterans team at Positive Minds, they feel it's really important to share our lives and experiences of serving personnel. Our aim is to break down some barriers and stereotypes around the label veteran and encourage all ex-serving personnel to reach out for support and guidance with their mental health and well-being. We want to offer a service that is understanding and inclusive of all individuals. And here at Positive Minds, we know from experience that one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't work. Maybe by sharing some of their experiences and stories, we can help our veterans feel like they're not alone and their guidance is not only accessible, but is tailored to suit the specific needs and different needs of veterans. So we've asked our local community to send us some questions. And what we'll be doing is I'll be asking the questions to our lovely team, and they will be answering these. But before we start, if I could just ask you all to introduce yourself. If we start with you, Kirsty, and then we'll move around.
My name's Kirsty. I'm the Senior Veterans Wellbeing Advisor at Positive Minds, and I was a steward in the Royal Navy for nearly 9 years.
Steve?
Hi, I'm Steve, one of the Veterans Wellbeing Advisors at Positive Minds. Served for 23 years in the Navy as a chief writer, which is logistics, sort of HRI stuff.
Thank you. And Matt.
Hi, my name is Matt. I was in the Army. I was in the First Battalion of the Royal Anglian Regiment for 19 years, and then spent the last 5 years of my career as an instructor in the Royal Army Medical Corps.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. So a nice range of experience and different services here. So if at any point anyone wants to find out more about Positive Minds as we're talking, you can Google us and find our website, or you can find us on Solent Minds Facebook page, or you can give us a call on 023 92 824 795. I will repeat those details later on for you. So our first question is for Steve. And the first question is, what do you miss most about military life, if anything?
Wow, where to start with that one? I think, yes, there are ups and downs. Separation can be tough, long hours at times, particularly when you are deployed. But, and I think it is a really big but, I think the chance to travel with some really good mates, lifelong mates, getting paid a decent wage, and experiencing so many different things, cultures, etc., that's something I'll always treasure. The sense of teamwork, camaraderie, your mates having got your back, and the pride in wearing the uniform is something I found difficult, if not impossible, to replicate after leaving the service. Yes, there are things that would have changed, particularly the stigma attached to mental health issues and the support when leaving the services. But on the whole, the ethos and the experience of serving is something which cannot be replicated.
Thanks, Steve. That's a really nice reply. It's good to know you had fun when you were out there.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Kirsty, our next question is for you. And it's quite a long one. So let me know if I need to read it out again. So my view of the military has always been that it is a male-dominated environment. To the female veterans, is this accurate from your experience, and was it difficult navigating through this? And if so, what support factors are in place for women, if any, in the military?
I suppose the answer would be yes and no. Obviously, the military is a very male-dominated environment, but there's lots and lots of females that join up as well. And certainly towards the time that I was leaving, lots more females in a higher, more senior positions within the service. I think the experience of a female serving in the military is obviously going to look very different to a male's experience. I was really young when I joined up. I was 16 and a half. I needed my parents' permission to join the Navy. And I think it was very intimidating walking into an environment where you are outnumbered. I wasn't used to, I'd never had a job when I joined up. I wasn't used to working, let alone being in that kind of strict boundaried environment. And yeah, I think it's the same as having any job, though. You're always going to get that kind of balance that you need to kind of adapt to. There was definitely and most certainly challenges, but overall I'd say the majority of the service, women have a really great and positive experience. Obviously there's going to be occasions where that isn't the case, but I think as well, moving forward and how the military is currently, there is a lot more in place to support females. Maybe that wasn't in place when I was serving, but I know that things have moved forward, and hopefully the more female veterans that kind of speak out about any of those negative experiences will give the military more insight into how it feels to be a female, certainly serving on a ship that's made up with lots more men than there is women. And we can tackle some of the issues that maybe women have to deal with that men don't. So yeah, that was my experience.
Oh, brilliant. Did you find it slightly different because you were young? You said you were quite young when you joined.
I think because I was so young, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know what I was walking into, and maybe that's easier then because the expectation wasn't there. And I think when you're younger, you adapt a little bit quicker to things, and things become the norm, or you accept things more easily. I don't know whether that's a negative or a positive, because now some of the situations that maybe I was put in, or some of the things I encountered, I probably deal with very differently. But at the time, maybe youth was on my side. I was a bit more blasé about things, and I let things go, which probably was a positive. But yeah, you get all different types of females. You get strong females, and being in the Navy made me a stronger person. It made me a better mother. It made me, much more structured and professional. But everybody's experience is different, so
Oh, great, thanks. So the next question is an open question, and it is: do you think there are any misconceptions around the word veteran?
I'd like to go first on this one. So I think we've got a generational thing where we've just come out of obviously we've just done the 75th anniversary of VE Day, and obviously last year we had 75th anniversary of D-Day. I think as a culture, we've always sort of looked at our sort of grandparents' generation as when we talk about veterans, where you always think it's that sort of that older person, that the old grey-haired guy stood there by the war memorial with his medals on, and seeing the sort of grandparents or great-grandparents' generation as sort of war as the sort of as veterans. But what we see now is more and more young people leaving the service, and anybody who's served, we see as a veteran, and they can bring all sorts of issues with them, but also going into out of the military and into the workplace. They do offer a lot of skills which they've picked up in the military, where they can bring to the workplace, and it's looking at not just looking at the mental health issues, but also looking at the positives what veterans can bring to the civilian workplace as well.
Thanks. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I think as a whole, like the veterans term, it's not something I identify with. When I think of a veteran, I don't see myself. I think I'm very much in the mindset that it's kind of a war hero, but the government's terminology of a veteran is someone that's drawn one day's pay from the armed forces. So the term kind of is an umbrella term, and a lot of people sit within that umbrella. But I definitely think that moving forward, veterans services and charities maybe need to look at the terminology and kind of be more clear about what the word veteran means. Young, old, male, female, trans, LGBTQ. BAME community. I think, yeah, it needs to be much more inclusive and fluid, maybe, especially, yeah, because I think a lot of younger people don't associate themselves with the word veterans, and I know a lot of female service leavers don't. So
I think last sort of point, following on from that, a veteran is not necessarily someone who's fought in a war, been injured. Everyone has their own experiences, their own issues. I think that's really important.
Okay, thanks, guys. That was really interesting to hear that and hear the different thoughts around the word and what it means to you guys. So the next question is for Matt, and it says, within the military, there is still stigma attached to serving personnel who report sick with mental health issues. And how can this be overcome?
Now, from my own personal background, being medical as well, so I've worked within clinical environment, and I was discharged last year from the army with severe PTSD. Now, it's quite a tricky subject. So over the years, there's been a lot more work done towards and recognising mental health issues and treating mental health issues. We do have a very good mental health system within the armed forces, especially down here in Portsmouth with the Department of Community Mental Health over in Miss Nelson. However, you've got to look at it two places. Sometimes you can have a minor mental health issue which is rectifiable and won't affect the rest of your career. And there's been times throughout my career where I've come back from places, I've had issues adjusting, there's adjustment issues coming back. It is very hard, sometimes coming back from a deployment and then getting back into the normal nitty-gritty of day-to-day office work or that low-level training again. So a lot of people have these low-level mental health bumps, and we can overcome those. However, there are times when more serious mental health conditions do occur, and when it comes to your career, it comes to promotion prospects and things like that, we know we would like it so it didn't have an impact, but however, in some occasions, these larger mental health issues are going to have an impact. For instance, you've got to remember in the armed forces, we work with weapons and live ammunition. So when I was diagnosed with severe PTSD, the role I was in, I was responsible for weapons and ammunition. So obviously those roles were then affected, my work was then affected, and I had to be withdrawn from being able to access those, which, quite rightly so. So even though we're really good at understanding mental health, and we are really good at looking after our personnel in the military, especially these days, I think there's still going to be those we have to put safety first. So we have to put safety first, and I think individuals do believe there's still a little bit of a stigma where they think that their long-term career will be affected by coming forward with mental health issues. But that's the next piece of work we need to do to address that. Look, you can come forward to these. It is going to have a short-term effect on your career, but however, you're going to come out the other end better for actually coming forward and getting these things sorted before it escalates to something a lot worse.
Oh, brilliant! Thanks for that, Matt. That's really interesting to know about, and especially your point about how safety comes first, and you talked about your own experiences as well with that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so the next question is an open question, and it's, what are the meals like in the military? Do you have Sunday roasts, curry Thursdays, and taco Tuesdays?
I don't remember a Taco Tuesday.
No.
That's a bit more current, but yeah, roast, definitely. I mean, it's not that different to working anywhere else, and you have a staff canteen, and obviously it looks very different wherever you are, Army, Navy, RAF, but I've always thought the food was quite decent, but then I've never really had anything to compare it to because my mum's cooking was absolutely shocking. So anything was like a bonus. But yeah, 3 meals a day, fry up for breakfast if you wanted it. Obviously, you've got your healthy options. I don't know about the Army so much, but in the Navy, there's some real weird like terminology for food. Like, I don't know, Steve would probably be able to tell you, but things like a baby's head, which is like a steamed pudding, or a hammy cheesy egg. No, cheesy hammy eggy, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just random things. But I always thought the food was really decent. But then I worked with the chef, so I couldn't say otherwise.
Matt.
Okay, so obviously our army take on it. Things are actually they go up and they go down. Depends where you are around the world. Since I joined up a long time ago, so 25 years ago, I joined the army, and things were very much different. Where the cost of food was deducted from your wages every month, and you then got 3 square meals a day. Lots of choice. They've moved on from that to when you're in camp, obviously on a shore establishment or in barracks for the army. We have something called pay as you dine, where it is very much like a staff canteen. It's run by civilian contractors. There's lots of choice in the field as well. So believe it or not, when I joined up at 16 years old, I used to be vegetarian. I made the decision. Steve's looking shocked because I do enjoy my bacon rolls. However, back in the mid-90s, you couldn't really be vegetarian in the army. You had a choice, like it or leave it. And especially being in the army with the high calorific intake you need on field exercises, it was really hard to do. However, the Navy was very different back there. So my sister joined up in 93, 94. My sister joined the Royal Navy. She was on the first female draft on HMS Westminster when she came out of fit. But she was vegetarian as well. And my sister was able to stay a vegetarian in the Navy because of the way that they were fed. Nowadays, even in the field, there is no barrier to obviously diet in the field at all. So we even have ration packs as well. So we have vegetarian ration packs, we have halal and kosher ration packs as well. So it's really a lot easier to maintain your dietary conditions. The only thing I've had an issue with over recent years was gluten intolerance. So within different aspects in the military, there is a restriction on gluten intolerance because obviously, certain dietary requirements and with medications and stuff. So that's dietary wise, it's changed phenomenally. And the field ration packs are absolutely fantastic compared to the old days of little cans of beans every day.
But no tacos. No tacos. No thing I can do about tacos.
I've not crossed tacos.
No, I think as the Kirsty said, particularly on a ship, it depends on the chefs, the quality of the chefs, and again where you are in the world. If you're at sea 3 weeks, fresh stuff obviously starts running out. No chips and biscuits, luckily, anymore. But if you're in, I don't know, Hong Kong, Singapore, whatever, you will get the chefs, the caterers, buying local delicacies. I've had some weird and wonderful stuff to eat over the years, but on the whole, 99% of the time, food was really good, really good.
So, what's the ship's biscuit? Is that like a chocolate hobnob or digestive?
No, hardtack weevil field biscuit. Probably going back to the Nelson days for review.
Yeah. So we're going back to the 1800s when Steve joined.
Yeah, thank you,
When biscuits weren't even invented.
We'll speak later, you two.
Do you get fresher fish and chips if you're out at sea?
No, it's all frozen. You can have takeaways though, like when you're alongside.
Yes.
Alongside in Pompey, you could have a Chinese delivered to the ship. It's not, I think people think you're on a ship, that's it. You're there, you don't get off. And when you're deployed, when you go alongside somewhere, you can go out and experience like the best food. But I mean, they do the best with what they got. They can only get access to certain types of ingredients. So, and one of my closest friends is a PO caterer, so he would never speak to me again if I dissed the food. But personally, I quite liked it. But I like school dinners, so.
Still don't think I could do it without tacos. But anyway. So thanks, guys. Interesting to learn about the different foods, especially how well it's moved forward from not even catering for a vegetarian in the army to what they supply as ration packs. The next question is actually for you again, Matt. So, do you ever wish you were back in action and not at home?
Well, I think that really sort of ties in with my own. Everybody's experience in the military is very difficult, is very different, and the majority of individuals who join the military for whatever reason will not experience action. However, so we've gone through peaks and troughs. So my father's generation in the army saw very little action. However, we're now coming out of a period now where we had Iraq, Afghanistan, we had Bosnia, the tail end of Northern Ireland. So we've got a lot of our young veterans now who coming back home now, who've witnessed quite a bit of action. So we're going to see this younger generation of veterans now who've actually seen quite a bit of action. Now, I can only really liken it to a roller coaster ride. We go on a roller coaster ride, we get scared, and we watch a horror movie, we get scared, and that's part of the excitement. And people get addicted to these because of the adrenaline rush, and it's that fear, the sharpening of senses of being on a roller coaster or being scared in a horror movie. And if you can imagine timesing that by 1,000, being in contact, being in action. And it does, it makes that sort of addictive sort of experience, which you sort of long for that in a way. But also with that, you find during those experiences of being in action, your senses become more attuned, and the teamwork and the camaraderie with the men and women around you becomes tighter. And you come out of that with an experience with a closeness to your brothers and sisters, which you will never, ever feel again anywhere else than you are at that moment. And it is quite exhilarating. So having come back from that, and obviously having personally suffered with severe PTSD, there is a lot of times where I feel like I wish I was back with those people again, reliving that experience, the way I felt, and the closeness I felt to my brothers and sisters in that moment. So, and anybody who's been in that sort of situation say that they wouldn't want to be there again at that moment where they just felt at the height of what they'd trained to do, and that was like the sort of culmination of everything they'd done for their military career. And it is, as I said, it's a very addictive and heady mix. So yes, personally, I do have those flashbacks. Not always those sort of really bad flashbacks you think of with PTSD, but sometimes it's those sort of fond memories as well of times you've been close to friends. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Would you say that's the same in the military, Stephen Kirsty? Not the military, so the Navy, Stephen Kirsty.
Go on, Kirsty.
Go on, you go.
I think, yeah, I agree entirely, Matt. Probably more so for the Navy. Since the Falklands, there really hasn't been any sort of major conflict for the seaborne Navy. But when the things do hit the proverbial, yes, I think I agree 100%, Matt. The teamwork, camaraderie, that togetherness, the closeness, it all really comes together. And
yeah,
I said earlier in one of my other answers, they are friends for life, really are. Knowing that someone, he, she, has got your back.
Yeah, and with that as well, when we talk about the Navy especially, with a lot of the young MAs, a lot of the more experienced MAs, medical assistants in the Navy I know, and the young MAs that I've trained, they do end up working with 3 Commando Brigade, and we the funny bit that you find somebody who joined the Navy to be on board a ship, they find themselves on their boots in Afghanistan with a med pack on their back, chasing Royal Marines down, looking after them. And so yeah, we've got this generation of Navy as well who joined up to be on board ships and end up found in green kit on their feet in Afghanistan with a lot of the Navy trades as well. And yeah, we've had female MAs in the Navy, a female MA in the Navy who won the Military Cross.
Yeah.
For saving the lives of soldiers. So the Navy are actually coming back with the same experience as well.
Really powerful stuff, Matt. Again, thank you for sharing. So we've got another open question, and this one just basically says, what do you do for fun when you're away? Lots of smiles.
Comment.
Clean, Kirsty.
You know what? We're just like normal people. We like to have a good time. We like to get, let our hair down if we've got it.
Thank you.
And I just think the nature of these kind of jobs that people are doing, it's really intense. You're in a really committed, boundaried, structured environment. So when you do get that opportunity to kind of have a good time, we have a good time plus like a million. But that was part of the draw to being in the military, isn't it? Is that you work hard, you play harder. Everybody understands that we can't act like normal people. You're representing your country, you're representing the military, but that doesn't stop us. I think you need that camaraderie, that friendship, that going out and letting your hair down and having a good time, because it brings you closer together when you really need to be pulling together and working hard. So, and there's loads of other things. It's not all about partying. There's a big sporting community within the services. If you join any of the services and you're good at and you excel in a sport, the military will push you in that direction and kind of explore any of those sporting opportunities. There's opportunities for education. I did A levels that I wasn't able to access when I was a civvy. Being in the military is an environment where your seniors want you to thrive. They want you to become this ideal model soldier, sailor, airman. So there's all of those things. There's opportunities that I certainly, as a young teenager from Cardiff, would never have been able to access unless I was in the military. So for me, it was a real broad, wide experience.
I think, for me, it was trying to find a balance between a bit of culture, bit of partying, bit of sport. So you had to 4 days in, Greece. Maybe 2 days would be going out exploring to the cultural bit, day partying, maybe a day sport, football, rugby, swimming, day down the beach, whatever. So it was trying to find that balance between it all. It's not all party, honest.
Yeah, it's. I think the language we tend to use is very different between the Army and Navy. When you ask what do you do from when deployed, obviously the Army's version of deployment, again, depend on what your role and what your job is very different from the Navy's version of deployment, which is going away in your ship. So what we do for fun while deployed, in the old days, it was, you used to make your own fun. So it was, build a volleyball court, build a 5-a-side court, and it was little as that, catch up on a hell of a lot of reading. So I used to read a lot more. So whilst deployed, you've got a lot more time for inward reflection, being able to spend that time reading, which you really couldn't do much. Then we moved into the sort of the generations of the mobile phones, and they're always stuck to their mobile phones and all the rest of it. And we'd deploy, and their mobile phone would be taken away from these younger lads and girls, and it's like, what am I going to do? A new mobile phone again, read a book. But now there's a lot of different amenities on deployments which are provided with phones. So when I first joined up, the only way you had a contact in home was a bluey. So it was a free envelope. You used to write in it, fold it up, stick it, and then it'd post back home for free. Nowadays they've got internet access. They've got availability of welfare satellite phones. A lot of places I've seen, even in forward places, where there's been television setups with DVDs and PlayStations as well for guys and girls to actually be able to use PlayStations and things like that in the downtime when they're relaxing. So things have changed massively over, especially the last 25 years. From digging sand out and making a volleyball court out of bits of mine tape and whatever you could find to nowadays with internet access and there. But I've found deployment is like the only real time I've had for inward reflection as well, and to actually spend time to actually read. Yeah.
I used to play, is it Uckers?
The Navy game, yeah.
Yes, there's like a game in the Navy, Uckers, that was quite popular. Also on board a ship you had access to the padre, so there's a priest on board that you could kind of, we used to go to mass, and we still celebrated things like Mother's Day, Father's Day, or any religious ceremonies. You can't really get bored. There is always something. And even when I was at a base, you have a NAFI bar where there's events, and you could go and watch boxing or go and watch live sport, or we do bingo, real normal stuff, because you need that to make you feel grounded and feel that you're still a person other than your role. So it's quite it's quite a full life being in the military. It's not boring.
No.
What's a NAFI bar?
Oh, a NAFI. So on every base or establishment or ship, they have what's called a NAFI, which is a shop where you can go and get, I don't know, cakes, biscuits, crisps. You used to be able to buy cigarettes. We used to get stamps, and we would save them up and buy cigarettes at a cheaper price. And then on a base or an establishment, they'd have a NAFI bar. So it's just like a pub, really, where you can go and have a drink and relax.
Oh, that sounds nice. Sounds nice. Definitely the PlayStation. I could get into doing some of that. Thanks, guys. So this question is to Steve. And would you recommend military service to the younger generations and children?
Right. As a parent of 4 children, myself, 2 girls, 2 boys, all growing up now, I would never ever discourage my kids from joining up. I think with the right motivation and the mindset for them, coupled with the very inclusive ethos of the military now, I would suggest it's a great career choice. The old cliche of seeing the world may not be so true nowadays, but there are still numerous opportunities to travel, experience many different cultures, alongside the opportunities of sport, the veterinary training, and indeed qualifications. I myself, years ago, went on a 3-week sailing trip around the Mediterranean. I did a 2-week parachute course. I did a degree in the forces, 6 months exchange with the Australian Navy based in Sydney, 3 years based in Singapore. And the beauty is, it was all free and I was getting paid for it. Yes, there is a risk, but with the training, I think, and the team spirit, and again, camaraderie, I would suggest the benefits outweigh those risks. So yeah, I certainly would.
Oh, that's lovely. Thanks. Oh, especially, sunny in yourself on the beach in Sydney.
It was hard work, Ruby.
It sounds hard work. Hard work, being paid to sit on a beach.
I was
That's
working.
Brilliant. Thank you. So the last question we have is an open question. And it is, what would your message be to anyone who is ex-Exurban personnel who are struggling with their mental health.
Okay, yeah, I'll go forward on this. Well, yeah, it's like with mental health issues, you can't sort of see over the parapet when you're actually going through the issue. You're having those problems. Be it depression, be it anxiety, all of these things are actually natural in life, and we all face these at some point. But whilst you're going through these, you can't really see left or right of you. You sort of get tunnel visioned, and you forget that you've got those people around you. Okay, you've got thousands and thousands of veterans around you who are having the exact same issues, and it's all to do with reaching out to those networks that you've made through the years of being in the military or your time in the military or whatever, family as well. It's about reaching out and actually letting other people know. People can't help you unless you put your hand up and say, look, I'm struggling here, all right? And you'll be surprised how many of your old comrades will come to you, will be able to give you those, give you advice, give you support. It may not always be the best advice, but yeah, people actually signposting you to other people who will be able to give you the advice. Yeah, and that's one of the few things I see on social media at the moment, is being able to keep those bonds of friendship still tight and still close. And again, I often reach out to old friends who I served with. Some of those I haven't seen for 20 years, and I've managed to be there for them. People have just come down and dropped everything just to be there for me as well. So I think that you are part of something a lot bigger. Don't forget that you're part of something a lot bigger than yourself. And when we're having those problems with our own mental health, we sort of forget that. Yeah, we do forget that. We get tunnel vision, and we've gone down that hole by ourselves.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Anything else?
I think just reiterating what Matt said, speak up. There is a multitude of agencies, experts, peer support out there for you, particularly for us at Positive Minds, the Veterans Arm. We've all got our own lived experiences of different issues. Won't go into those now, but we're there to help. If we can't help, we can signpost you to people who can. We've got massive resources. Please come forward, speak up, come and see us.
Yeah, I just agree with both of you guys. I just think, even though there is a lot out there for veterans, I think there's still this kind of pride or feeling of weakness about speaking out and saying I'm struggling or I need some help. And mental health is such a broad spectrum of what people are dealing with and what people are struggling with. And I think, as people that serve in the military, it's kind of embedded in you that you're strong and we can overcome anything. But that we're human at the end of the day. And I think Steve's right at Positive Minds, where we've all got that shared experience. I just hope that from today people can see that we're just normal people, and we've all had different career experiences, we've all had different mental health journeys, and no matter what it is that you're struggling with, there will be someone that can kind of say, do you know what, that I felt that happened to me. And just having somebody else who mirrors you. So for me as a female, I was never comfortable to kind of explore any veterans specific charities, because I didn't feel that, not that I wouldn't be welcome, but that I didn't identify as a veteran, so I didn't feel that they would accept me. So knowing that you can come to Positive Minds and there's 2 female veterans on the team, or if you want to speak to someone that served in the army, or someone that's been in that we've got such a broad range of experiences. So I think that's a really useful resource. And like Steve said, if we can't help you, we will find someone who can, and you deserve the help. And it doesn't matter whether you spent 2 weeks in the Royal Marines or you spent 25 years in the army. We're here to pick up all of those people. So please reach out. It's important.
I think one last thing, we talked about the army and the Navy. We have got a colleague as well who served in the RAF for a long, long time. So, yeah, we cover all services.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of us, we've got experience of working tri-service as well, where we've worked all three services and family in all three services. We do have a joint understanding. There is that understanding there. And as he said, with the people you've got in front of us right now, we've got 2 Navy, 1 Army. So I'm outnumbered, but at least there's no RAF here to draw fire. But yeah, as I said, we're here at Positive Minds. We've got shared experience. We know where you're coming from. Your own problem is your issue. What you're dealing with is your issue. Okay, we're not going to say we know exactly how you feel, but we can empathise with you because we got the same background there. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. So that's the questions for today. I'm sorry for any that we haven't been able to answer today. Just to remind you guys, if you do want to contact the team at Positive Minds and talk to anyone, you can do that via the phone, and that's 023 92 824 795. Or you can send us an email, and that's veterans@solentminds.org.uk. Or alternatively, you can pop in and visit us, and you can find our address on the internet. So I just wanted to extend my thanks to the team for answering the questions and sharing your experience and knowledge. For anyone who has been watching this that would like to contact us, please do. Anyone who's struggling at the moment or just needs to talk, remember that there are the Samaritans that you can call, and you can call them on their free number. They're open every day, all day. And their number is 116 123. Nice and simple. So you can reach out to them, or you can check Solent Minds Facebook page or website, where there's a wealth of information there. So please do reach out if you do need any help. So team, thank you so much for doing this. Before we head off, are there any final comments that you'd like to share? Your favourite pudding?
I think the one thing which, again, I feel is important is families of veterans. So even if you haven't served yourself, but a family member has, that could have a massive impact on yourself. So again, please, any family member who served, come along.
Yeah. I mean, just to reiterate that point, what Steve just put there, within our wider team as well, within Positive Minds, we've got a lot of experience. We've got a lot of experience with dependents. So we've got wives and families, even amongst our civilian team at Positive Minds. There's a lot of experience there, and we do obviously we accept, and we're also, one of the good things we do is we're able to signpost families of veterans and families of these as well. Again, we've seen a number of wives and families of those serving in the Royal Navy in Portsmouth itself come into our service, who we've been able to help. So yeah, it's just we are open to the wider veteran and serving community as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, so scale biscuits are the favourite pudding. We'll leave it with that one. And Steve can tell me all about his experience with stale biscuits another time. Thank you again, team. I'm really grateful for you for doing this, and thank you to everyone watching. And hopefully we'll see a lot of your faces coming through our door soon. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.